You would think that this looks like we're getting a colonic or like a procedure done.
That's just a blank screen, baby girl.
I know. I got to pull it up once. Oh, we're recording.
Yeah, now we're recording. Hi. So Brittany got a colonic.
We got a soft wave machine in our office, which is like a ultrasound skin tightening lifting device. And I posted a video today of it getting done to like my butt and like my like under like top of my thighs. And people,
it just makes it wait, it just makes it like tight, or what is it
makes
supposed
it
to
like
do?
lift. It'll like lift the skin and like tighten if you have like right underneath your butt cheek.
Wait, do you remember those machines that we used to get, or well, I didn't never get it, but they existed that you put it on your abs and it was like it like forced the muscles to move and it would like give people a
Like
six
M
pack?
sculpt. So this like that one is like a contraction, which this one is like heats up the collagen so that it makes your skin tighter. So
Oh,
it can
but
also
people
make it look
use it
smoother.
on their whole body?
You can use it on your whole body, like abs, everything.
Okay, why have you never offered this to me? What
We
I thought
just
we
got
were
it
friends.
in last week. We just got it in. So a lot of people, they call it like a non-surgical facelift. So it's great for like jowling or like neck skin, but you can use it on like the banana part of your butt. You know how like you'll sometimes have like a little, if you're like working out, like you'll have like a little thing of skin like underneath your butt. You know what I'm talking about? They call it like the banana boat.
No.
You don't know. You've never had to worry about it. So you have long
You
legs.
have a banana boat? What is the banana boat?
So it like
Like
heats
under
that
your
up
butt,
to
there's another level of skin?
like another little roll or something. I don't know how to describe it. Like they call it the
Whatever.
banana.
I have a muffin top, so I got my own issues to deal
You
with.
know, so I was getting that treated and I posted this video. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I mean, it does
And,
kind of look like you're getting a colonic. Have you ever gotten a colonic?
no, but it was just the tube, the ultrasound machine, and everyone started commenting and they were like, "What are you getting done to your butthole? What's in your butthole?" And I was like, nothing is in my butthole on the internet. Like I was so mortified. It was on my like personal story for like an hour thinking that it was fine. And then everyone, I had guys messaging me saying, "Oh, are you getting a colonic?" And I'm like,
Wait,
"What?"
wait. I'm not going to use names, but that's why What's His Face texted about it, because somebody probably sent in the group chat that you were posting about your colonic and they went to watch your story and realized you weren't following him anymore. Dead.
It was mortifying. It was mortifying. And then I was like, immediately take down. I would never post anything with bowels on the internet, like ever. I was
over here on TikTok being like, I shit myself in the bathtub the other night, so everything's fine.
I literally like this guy that I met in Italy commented that lives in Miami and was like, are you doing colonic? And I was like, no.
Live. Just like live getting your ass. Okay, wait.
Of all people, would I ever do that?
Oh, wait, I have a funny story for you. So I was in this situationship with this guy who he like, whatever, disappeared on me to go date some girl like 8 years older than her or than him. And that's what she does for her profession, is she gives people colonics. And so all of her stories are that, but the machine she had, and I don't know if you've ever been to a colonic machine place. Have you been to one?
No, but I mean, I know they're great for you. I just don't know if I would share it publicly.
Have you seen what the machine looks like?
Isn't it like a tube that like, it's like a clear tube so you can see what's coming out, right?
Yeah. But like when you get it done, you're like fully like laying in this bathtub that like you're like chilling in this bathtub situation with this tube up your asshole. And she would post videos of these women. And I was just like, you mean to tell me he left me for that?
Hey, you know what? Maybe you just need to feel skinny.
He was like, well, you know what? She had a clean asshole, so Jesus, yeah. So that's fine. I don't love a colonic because of that, because I got left for a colonic girly, and I don't know how I feel about that.
That's been my afternoon. So I think I'm just gonna keep Beauty by Brit and my personal Instagram separate because there's no point in trying to explain what beauty is.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? So, have you've seen all the posts that Hannah and Paige were making about Paige's new line, Daphne?
Yeah.
Okay, so they were talking. I was listening to their podcast, and they were talking about how they named the like large, oversized T-shirt with stains on it. Hannah's is like Hannah's T-shirt because like she wore the same shirt all of COVID. And I was like, if this is not more Eva's Hannah, Brittany is Paige coded, like I will be in the same oversized t-shirt, chili stains on it, nachos, sauce, hot sauce, doesn't matter. Most comfortable t-shirt. Don't know where I got it from. I was like, this makes so much sense.
That's why you asked me the other day when you're at my house. You're like, "Do you have an oversized shirt?" Like, you probably don't.
Like the
And I'm
larger the better.
like,
No, I
bitch,
wanted
you
to like
some oversized tees. I give
to
you one of
be
my
fair,
brother's.
the shirt you gave me was like a large, and I was like, this isn't big enough. I want to be like, I want to feel engulfed. Like, I don't want to wear pants at all.
It does make that is.
Wait, we have a lot to catch up on. We have Mexico. We haven't talked about Mexico on here.
Oh my gosh, I know we haven't. I haven't seen you in like a week.
Well, you saw me like 2 days ago, but
Well,
kind of.
I haven't seen Pod Eve in like a week.
You haven't seen Podcast Eve. We need to talk about Mexico. I want to talk about, so fucking cat is like on one right now. She loves whenever you talk to the computer. She's like, hi.
Oh, bring her
Say
in.
hi.
Hi, kitty, kitty.
Say hi.
Very
I'm
cute.
so cute. No, bye.
That's the cat that I'm scared of.
Well, you know what? That's because you don't respect boundaries. Where was I
My
going
own
with this?
or other people's?
Well, your own mostly, but sometimes also other people's.
We're working on them. We've gotten a lot better over the years.
We're working on them. So a couple things. I'm gonna digress. Where was I going with this? I was talking about the shirt and you and their new pajama line or her new pajama line and me feeling like I was that's where I was going with this. Sorry, took me a moment. So I talk about poop on the internet. You don't. And I've been having some poop problems. And I just want to put this out there because I don't think I'm the only one this happens to. Now I know it probably doesn't happen to you because you're like a pretty little package box or whatever. I also know that if it ever did happen to you, you would surely never, ever admit it online. So you're my target demographic here. I need to know, truthfully, if this is a thing other adult women are experiencing, because with the rise of like probiotics and prebiotics and like gut health and IBS and like girls not wanting to be bloated or whatever, I feel like we're all taking 1,000,001 supplements. And everyone complains about the fact that they like can't poop for like 5 days or whatever, right? Like women are always like, I'm so bloated, I haven't pooped in 5 days, which by the way sucks because men are the most regular things I've ever heard of. So I used to be so regular in college. I'm not anymore. I'll go 5 days without pooping. And then it'll hit me in the middle of a walk. It'll hit me today. I almost pooped my pants in my own apartment because it just hits you.
But
and
are you
I'm
not
like,
able to like squeeze your butt cheeks together and like hold it in until you can get somewhere?
yes, but it's already come out a little bit on my undies. And then when
Okay, but that's better than you just like going everywhere.
yeah, no, the only times I've legit shit myself were when I was on a walk and I was doing the waddle for like a mile, and then the other day in the bathtub because I thought it was a fart and I got swindled. But like legit, no, this is so legitimate. See, you're covering your face, but like
No, I know it's legit. I just think it's funny because, us girls, we don't talk about stuff like this so publicly. But
okay,
it happens.
but like it happens. Okay, that's all I want to know is that it happens and I'm not the only one because I talk about it. Just because I talk about it doesn't mean that I'm the only one pooping my pants.
I mean, you're never supposed to trust a fart. Ever.
I did. I trusted it. And then I was in a bathtub with my own poop. And let me just tell you, yeah, it got a good clean, okay? It's very clean right now.
I wasn't in there with you since you like to bathe and shower baby at the same time. A little 2-for-1 special.
You know what? First of all, that's also normal because there's no way to bathe your dog without getting soaking wet. So you might as well just get in the fucking shower naked. I don't like do a full everything shower in there. I just get naked with him in the shower.
But why not? Yeah, okay. I don't know. I haven't washed a dog.
If I just put him in the bathtub, he'd be fucking splashing everywhere. And I want to close the door so he doesn't splash all over my bathroom.
That's true. Have you seen the little things, the little ones on like the internet though, and the dog, whenever you're like lounging in the bath and the dog comes and like crawls in? I'm like, okay, that's kind of cute.
Yeah, he's doing well. He came to the hairstylist with me today and it was funny because she was like, oh, you brought your dog.
You went to the beautician?
Fuck off. The hair, what do you call it? The salon person?
Salon, I don't know.
Yeah, okay, thank you. The hair whatever person. She went to the
We
hair
should bring beautician back.
Is that like, you know how they used to say waitress and now they don't? They like say server because it's gender neutral. Is like beautician sexed or something?
I don't
No?
Yeah, barber, beautician, I think so.
I don't know. I feel like I have a filter on. Why does my skin look so good? Look how good I look.
Because you've been using the Hydrinity line that I put you on.
Maybe I also shave my face, but no worries. I have an
Oh,
addiction. You dermaplane, right?
yeah.
I fucking love it. It's like pimple popping, but better. Like
I don't
you don't
dermaplane
even
like always on my own. I usually will get the girl at work to do it, but or
well,
sorry,
okay,
excuse
you're
me.
in like effectively like a spa. Not a spa, but like you know what I mean. You're in like a place where they do that. I can't like roll up to my job and be like, "Hey, does somebody want to dermaplane my face?"
You should try it.
Got a razor. Anybody want to take a go? No,
In
but
your,
like
in your community workspace.
it's just like I'm here. Wait, serious question. Did you, when you were little, and they would be like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" What did you say?
A nurse.
Did you really?
Yeah, I've been in the hospital since I was in like elementary school.
Holy shit, you would. I
Yeah, I
said I
did my
wanted to
sixth
own an
grade
orphan.
presentation on OR nursing and brought in an OR nurse to show all the tools to the class.
And neither of your parents are in the medical industry, right?
I
No.
was obsessed with watching surgeries. I don't know what that says.
Okay.
Call me Dexter. I don't know.
Well, wait, maybe that makes more sense. Maybe you'll understand this then, because when I was asked what I wanted to be, I said I wanted to own my own farm and run an orphanage for kids and golden retrievers. Whatever. Not a
A
real job.
farm or bar?
No, a farm, like a
Oh,
farm. Like,
yeah,
like I
bar.
wanted to run an orphanage. Like, you know, the little thing, not a bar. I mean, I would also run a bar. But the reason I was saying that is, but I had an obsession with popping pimples. Like, I love popping pimples. I love it. And I never had really bad acne. So I never had some good ones. Like, I wanted to get on in there. And so my ex boyfriend, I used to make him let me pop his back pimples. I'd be like, let me go.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? Just refrain from judging me.
See,
Take a shot.
I don't mind popping strangers like abscesses and pimples, but I think if my boyfriend came to me and he had this like giant zit on his back, I think I'd get a little grossed out. Depends on how long we've been dating. Depends on how long I've known
Oh
him.
God, I loved it. I was like, get me in there.
I remember my guy friend when I like moved to Charleston used to ask me to shave his back for his dates, and I was always like, "This is so gross." But then I just think about how gross the back hair would have been, and I'm like, "Okay, fine,
I've shaved
I'll do
Glenn's
it."
back. I got drunk the other night and I made him let me shave his back.
Does the assistant have back hair?
Not like a lot. No, I just wanted to shave something because I like dermaplaning now.
You used your twinkle razor on his back. That would take forever.
I was like drunk, going to town on his back, and he was like, "What are you doing, Eve?" And I was
They're
like, "I
like
don't know. This
slices
is
like
fun for
carotid
me."
by his neck. And he's like, they're like, why? How did Glenn die? Well, we got a little drunk and I was twinkling his back and not in a fun way.
So, well, at least now I have a twinkle razor because I used to go a full 5-bladed Venus razor on my face. I loved it. It was so much
Yeah,
fun.
I know. I'm so glad you don't do that anymore.
Okay, but like besides the cutting risk, it can't be that bad. It's not any different. It's still a razor. Probably better. It's 5 blades instead of 1.
But would you like clean it, throw it out throw away a full Venus every time you do your face? Because you're not going to reuse the same
No.
razor.
So, no, so I would only use it new for my face and then I would relegate it to a leg razor.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so it would be clean, like, it was very clean. It was just, like, cumbersome, it wasn't good at the crevices. But where I was going with this is, that personality that loves to pop a pimple and, like, watch those videos also loves the dermaplaning razor. It's so
Yeah, 'cause
much
it's
fun.
like,
You see the little fuzz? Have you ever shaved your ass?
I mean, I think that's like kind of part of the full routine, isn't it? Like what
No,
part?
not like up in there, I mean, like, the flaps, like, the peaches. You ever
Oh
shaved the
no,
peaches?
no,
Okay, I
I'm
did the other
a
day.
really hairy person.
No, I'm not either, but I did the
It's
other day. Huh?
like Like for being like a brunette, like I feel like, you know, like usually darker haired people are like hairier. Like
Sure.
I'm not a super hairy person. Like you can't even see like the hair on my arms.
Yeah, no, I'm not either. But it's so satisfying to get the fuzz off your ass.
With like a razor,
Uh-huh.
like a regular razor, like a twinkle.
No, like a regular. I just fully a
Maybe. Is it going to
defuzz.
make the hair grow back thicker? I don't know. Is that myth even real?
I think that's a myth because my face hair hasn't grown back thicker and darker.
Yeah. You know how
You
they
know,
always
like
say that?
I know, I understand. I think that just happens when you hit puberty, your hair gets darker and thicker. And so, like, I remember hearing that rumor when we were in like middle school. And then like people would hit puberty and it would get darker and thicker. And it was like, oh, because she shaved her arms. And it's like, or no, she just like got puberty.
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know. We should look up the stats on that. I'm gonna see if there's like a random controlled trial on or something.
Okay, Nurse Brit. Go look up the
does,
random controlled trials.
does
I'll
the
be there.
hair actually get coarser and thicker if you shave it?
I mean, I just like, yeah, it's not happened to me, but who the fuck knows?
Oh,
Also,
I got called out on this and I just caught myself doing it. My friend was like, whenever you're on your podcast and Eve's talking, you stare and you like put your mouth out like this. And I
oh, you
was like,
resting bitch face. You resting bitch face hard, and then you start playing with your hair. You start doing this.
and my friend called me out and I was like, fuck off. I was like, I didn't know I'd do that. She's like, no, I can totally tell when you're like Eve's talking or something. And it made me laugh. And I just caught myself doing it again. I'm like, oh, I gotta stop.
Fine. It's fine.
All right. So you went to Mexico and it was a shit show.
Yeah.
You're gonna let our
So
fellow podcast pod
the
people
short
watch.
version of the story is my close friend. So we were all going to do a group trip to Chicago for Memorial Day weekend. It ended up people had to work. People it got too close to the date. Like no plans were being made. I don't like this like shading giving me a mustache, but whatever. And so long story short is we got to the point where we were just like, look, we're going to go ahead and book something. We want to go to wine country Mexico, which by the way, I adore. You've been, I've been, love. So we were looking at hotel rooms and Glenn and I, and a lot of the hotels were refundable. We found the hotel we were at and it was non-refundable. It was like you had to book it. Mackenzie was interested in going. Part of the reason we went to wine country was because she wanted to go. She'd never been. So we were like, okay, well, we can book this room, but it's non-refundable. And she was like, no worries, I'll get a date. Fast forward to 2 weeks of me and Glenn going on like 5 double dates with her to try and find someone to come join our crew. Cause she was like, well, if this person's going to come with us, like he has to get along with all of us. So we would make it like a crew first date, etc. And everyone was like, there were some cool guys, some not so cool guys, but most people were just kind of like, in but not fully in, which I find really ironic because you know how many guys profiles do you see online on Hinge or whatever that are like, I'm looking for a girl who's spontaneous, or I'm looking for a girl who's down for like a road trip, and then you offer it to a guy and they're all like, wait a second, and you're like, okay, well, not
Okay,
so
the only
spontaneous.
thing, devil's advocate, if we roles were reversed and you got invited to go on a random trip with a guy that you hadn't really met yet to Mexico with another couple that you didn't know how they were, would you go?
I would.
No, I wouldn't.
Right, but that's the difference between the two of us. I would. There are people who would. But I just think it's funny because girls never put on their profile looking for a spontaneous man, but men do all the time. They're always like looking for someone like down for fun or whatever. And it's like, okay, are you down? And then no, whatever.
Yeah.
So this guy that Mackenzie matches with on Raya, he lives in San Francisco. He's been trying to take her out for a couple weeks. And he's like, I'm going to fly into LA. And she's like, well, actually, how do you feel about coming to Mexico? So the initial plan was he was going to fly into LA, spend the night in LA. We were all going to go on a date. We were going to get to meet him. And then he was going to drive down with us.
Don't you
Turns
wish
out
that plan had have happened?
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, turns out he has a work meeting. He can't fly down and do that. So he ends up flying the next day once we've already left, and you can't get a direct flight into Tijuana because you like we're across the border or whatever by like an hour and a half. So he's going to fly into San Diego, and then we get a driver from our hotel is going to come pick him up and drive him to the hotel to meet us. So this all happens and he's cute and we're all like, great, it's going to be fun. He gets there night one. Ken's is into him. Everything's fine. Mind you, we didn't meet him until dinner, so we didn't have a ton of time with him and we're good. Next morning, wake up and she literally looks at me and she's like, I'm actually into him. That was the last time that happened.
Yeah.
So
and then the plot thickens.
So that didn't go so well after that. So he comes to breakfast and we go back after breakfast to get dressed because we have like wineries planned out or whatever. And we're getting dressed and he brings out this bag, this large bag of like gum. And we're like, what are you doing? Why did you bring all this gum? What are you doing? And he was like, well, I didn't know how soon we were going to be able to find Coke. And me and Mackenzie are like, it's like 10 a.m. Me and Mackenzie don't do Coke. Look, no offense to anyone who does Coke. It's not our bag. And also, I'm certainly not buying it from a stranger in Mexico. So, whatever. Then we go to a winery. We have one tasting. We leave that wine. And one tasting is like the equivalent of one glass of wine. You know what I mean?
What does gum have to do with cocaine?
Oh, sorry. So the gum was like a caffeinated gum. It was supposed to like give you energy. So he was like, because we don't have Coke, I brought this gum. And we're like, okay.
Has he ever heard about it?
I had a lot of questions at this point. So we go to the first tasting. We do a full tasting. It's like the equivalent of one glass of wine or whatever. And so we're all fine. We've had breakfast. We've had snacks with this tasting. We go to the second wine bar or whatnot. And within 15 minutes, this man has spilled 2 espresso martinis down the front of his shirt. It's like 2 p.m.
I think it gets fishy. I feel like he was definitely taking some sort of substances to speed up this process, it seems like.
For sure. We don't know what, and we didn't see him do it, but for sure. So now it's 2 p.m. He's fully got 2 glasses of espresso martini down the front of him. All of us are looking around. He then tries to eat, like we got appetizers. He then tries to eat that and drops it on him. Mackenzie is looking like she wants to shoot herself in the face. So she's like, I'm going to take you to the bathroom. We're going to use soda water. We're going to get it out. She takes him to the bathroom. She waterboards him. Like he comes
like
back.
It's like her child at this point. You've
The
adopted
entire front of his shirt. The entire front of his shirt is like soaking wet. So we're sitting there finishing our tasting, whatever. We have a dinner, a Michelin star dinner. I pull Mackenzie aside. She's like, I can't believe this is happening. How is he this blackout? And we're all like, we don't know. And we're like, okay, well, we have this dinner. We've got to go. And she's like, well, let's see if we can go to the dinner earlier. Like, this is ridiculous. We get to the dinner. There's outside of the Michelin star restaurant, there's this clay tennis court. And like, I don't know why I was outside the restaurant. Doesn't make any sense to me. Whatever. This man, Ken's date, is like, let's play tennis, Glenn. And Glenn's trying to appease everybody because he's non-confrontational. And he's like, okay. I mean, we're dressed up, right? They're in button downs. We're in heels. They start playing tennis. They don't have rackets. They start playing with their hands. Like just outside. Oh yeah. No, insane. Start playing with their hands outside of this Michelin star restaurant. Eventually we get seated. Ken's leaves and goes to the bathroom, does not text him, texts me and Glenn and just says, I got a migraine. I got to go. And we're like, oh,
you guys.
Just ditches the 2 of us at this dinner with this guy. Me and Glenn are looking at each other. It's a 7-course dinner. We're on course 1. And we're both like, fuck our lives. So we're going, we're trying to make conversation. Anyways, at one point, like midway through the dinner, he pounds my boyfriend and he's like, yeah, you gonna like fuck this slit tonight? Like, let me see it for you. Glenn and me are like, what the fuck is happening? This continues. Then they bring Ken's all of her food as it comes out because we've paid for it, right? So they bring it and it's one of us eats each of her rounds. The main course is this like risotto. And we look at the guy and we're like, why don't you mind you, he has not texted her and been like, hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling? We're like, why don't you bring this back to her so that she can eat it and have some dinner, right? And he's like, oh, good idea. Packages it all up. Uber comes. We get in the Uber. And he gets in the Uber, no box. And Glenn's like, what happened to the food for Mackenzie? And he goes, well, there was a stray dog on the road.
This guy was a nut job. I would have never let him stay in my hotel room.
Oh, well, he didn't after that night. So we get back to the hotel and Ken's texting me and Ken's like, we can't ride in the cabs anymore. Like the cab that we had a driver from the hotel. And I was like, why? And she was like, we've been kicked out because he stiffed the driver. So when he got dropped off the first night, he just walked out of the cab and didn't pay. It was a $270 cab to cross the border, get him from San Diego, and then drive him back across the border to where the hotel was. $270 cab, he just didn't pay. Anyways,
Honestly,
long story
like I
short,
would have been knocking on you and Glenn's door and been like, I'm sleeping in here with y'all. I'm sorry your honeymoon's over, but this guy has to go.
I mean, to be fair, that's kind of what happened. But so this doesn't even get into the credit card stuff. So then we wake up the next morning and Ken's is like over it. And I realize this man has not put his card down once and he stiffed the Uber driver. And I'm like, fuck. So we were going to put everything in Splitwise. And I was like, okay, we're going to put everything in Splitwise. So it doesn't matter who puts a card down because it's all going to even out in the wash, right? But then I realized I was like, well, if he never puts his card down ever, he has no incentive to ever open Splitwise, enter anything, settle things up, whatever, because he didn't spend any money.
Yeah.
Fuck. I was like, fuck, he's going to go back to San Francisco. He's going to ghost our ass. So Sunday comes and I'm like determined to get him to put his card down. We go to the first winery. He tells us he's too hungover to drink. And we're like, okay. He skips out on the second and third winery, returns that night for dinner. And the dinner comes and the bill comes and they hand it to him. And I'm thinking, well, it doesn't matter if he's going to use Splitwise. He can put his card down. I'll put it in Splitwise. We're all going to pay. And he hands it to my boyfriend. I see red. I grab my boyfriend's hand under the table. I grab Mackenzie's hand under the table. And I was like, neither of you will take your card out. I look at him and I think it's about time you put your card down. And he goes, I don't have a credit card. And I was like, what do you mean you don't have a credit card? Turns out he came to Mexico without a credit card, without a phone charger, without cash, nothing. He also, by the way, is in the same shirt he was wearing on Thursday because he only brought 2 shirts. He wore one of them on Friday and Sunday and one of them on Saturday and Monday. Blue one and a green one.
He was in his late 30s, right?
38, yes. Insane. So he looks at me and he goes, I don't have a credit card. And I was like, what do you mean you don't have a credit card? And he was like, well, he doesn't explain it. And I didn't get into it because we're at this dinner. And I'm like, okay, well, do you have a debit card? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I think it's your turn to pay. And he was like, well, I don't have any money on my debit card. And I was like, what do you mean you don't have any money on your debit card? And he was like, well, all my money's in crypto. We all are like,
red flag number 500. Get out of here.
What do you mean all your money's in crypto? And he's like, well, yeah, it's all in crypto. He starts to tell us about his like Giga Chad, Giga Coin, Giga Meme, whatever. He's wearing a hat with like the crypto code on it. And we're all looking at him like, you're fucking idiot. And we're like, okay, well, transfer some money from crypto to your fucking debit card. Like, also, this is dinner. Like, what do you have on your debit card? Like $100? Like, you've got to have more than that on your debit card. And he was like, well, I didn't know the dinner was going to cost so much. I was like, I sent you the entire itinerary in advance, including specifying that the 2 dinners we were going to were Michelin star restaurants. So he's like, okay, well, I've got to transfer money.
He's like a master manipulator.
Oh, yeah. No, he's like Dirty John. So then he's like, well, I've got to transfer my crypto. And we're like, okay, cool. So go ahead and do that. I'm meanwhile holding both their hands under the table. Glenn can't look at him. Ken's is like getting infuriated. We're all just like about to lose our shit. Everyone has left the restaurant. We're the only ones there. So he goes, well, I need a computer to do that. And I'm like, you're telling me you can't use your phone to transfer money from your crypto account to your debit card? And he was like, no, I need a computer. And Ken's like called it. Ken's was like, it was like he was a fiend. He was like, I need a computer to transfer my crypto. Like, it was very weird. So then he was like, we looked at him and we were like, okay, I'm sure you could do it on your phone. And he was like, well, I could, but my phone's dead. And I was like, well, I bet we could find a charger for you. So I call the waiter over and I'm like, do you have a phone charger? And the waiter's like, yeah, brings a phone charger over. He's like, I don't really want to charge it here. We're like, you don't? Well, you're going to have to. You put your card down and you charge your phone. Like, these are your choices. We sat there for 45 minutes going through all this. He finally put his fucking card down. He got his own hotel room that night. We kicked him out. Ken literally like took all his suitcases and shit and threw it out the door.
Yeah.
We never saw him again.
Did he ever also, from Mexico is the question.
Nobody knows. But
y'all are gonna get police knocking on your door in like 2 weeks. They're like, what happened to Giga Chad? And y'all are like, I don't fucking know. We left him with
we left him in Mexico. Oh, it was insane. Which gets me into the tampon story because this also happened in Mexico. Mexico was really my worst nightmare.
I'm so glad I did not know. I just have to say that. I am so glad. I love y'all.
But if
I'm
you'd
so glad.
gone, none of this would have happened. None of
Actually,
this.
if I would have come, that's so true. We would have had better choices.
There wouldn't have been a Giga Chad. Everything would have been great, actually.
She's probably right.
Like, so Sunday morning, I wake up. This is after the disastrous dinner, and I realize that I've left a tampon inside me since Friday. And I can like kind of feel it, but I can't get my fingers around it to pull it out. And I start freaking out that I'm gonna get like toxic shock syndrome and all this other stuff. And my friend, I like Hail Mary her. I'm like, you gotta come in here. You gotta help me. So she's throwing tequila down my face. She's handing me edibles. She's like, you gotta relax. She gets me in the hot tub. I'm like, got my hand up there in the hot tub. Then I'm in the shower. I'm like on all fours. Everything's going on. Can't get it out. She's like, I hate to say this. She was like, but I've put, what are those things called? The colonoscopy?
No. She called me.
No. This is before she called you. This is before she called you.
Oh, this is before we were going to result to the cafeteria.
Yes. No. This is before she called you.
What was she? When she put?
So she starts trying to get the tampon out. I'm spread eagle in the hotel room, fluorescent lights on me, 10 a.m., not going well. She's like, okay, we got to call Britt. She calls you because you're an MP. And she's like, I just think if we had like tongs or tweezers or something, we'd be able to grab it. She texts the hotel bar. We don't speak Spanish. They only speak Spanish. And in broken like English Spanglish is like, can we get kitchen tongs, 4 shots of tequila, and a first aid kit? It's like 10 in the morning.
And my advice was, don't you dare stick any foreign object up there to try to grab anything at all.
So you
Medical
tell her
advice:
that.
never try to remove something with tongs like that on your own. Not sterile.
She convinces me we're gonna figure out how to sterilize it. You try and convince her of this. She goes to the kitchen. She tells my boyfriend's eating breakfast with the guy, the fucking Giga Chad.
Yeah.
And she like pulls him aside and she's like, dude, you gotta come back to the room. We got an emergency, all hands on deck. He doesn't get it. He continues eating breakfast. So she comes back, 4 shots of tequila. She's like, they couldn't find any tongs. I got 4 shots of tequila. We're just gonna do it. So I take 2, she takes 2. We go back to spread eagle Eve. She's in there, can't get it. She's like, I think you gotta get Glenn to get it. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. And I'm sobbing, panic attack.
Wait, you're skipping over the part where your boyfriend walked in while you're spread eagle and your hand is halfway up there.
He walks in. I'm spread eagle, tears running down my face, high as fuck, 2 shots in, empty stomach, and Kins is up there.
That's a good friend. That's a good friend.
He's literally like
Sex in the City, Carrie and the diaphragm when Samantha had to go get her diaphragm out.
He's looking at me like, what on earth is going on? And Mackenzie's like, tapping you in, Glenn. And Glenn's like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, okay, well, you're going to put a finger in, feel around for it, tap, tap, tap. I think it's a little bit up under a fold to the left. And she's like being very serious about this. And he goes in. There's no lube. There's nothing. I'm dry as can be. And he's twisting like this. I'm like yelping in pain. And I'm like, well, you're just going to push it further. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah,
like, you gotta get out.
Pleasure Central at the moment. Let's move on.
You got to get out. So I'm like, do we have any oils, lotions, whatever? We find the hotel lotions. I'm like, Kins, you're back in. Kins lubes herself up. Glenn, because Glenn's like, what do you want me to do? And I was like, you need to stop me from having a panic attack because I need to relax. So Glenn's like stroking my head, stroking my arms, like, you're doing good, baby. You're doing good. Meanwhile,
that was the first time they delivered their first child.
Kenzie's got 2 fingers in me. I'm spread open, mascara everywhere. And I'm like,
nobody signed up for. It literally sounds like a porno nightmare.
And then we've got to go back and see fucking Giga Chad and go to the winery with him and explain this. And we get in the car and he knows that like we've all been gone for an hour. And he looks at Glenn and he goes, oh, did you get her pregnant last night? Got to do that abortion? And Glenn's like, no, that's how it fucking works, dude.
needs to be punched in the face and never to be waken up again. Like, that's
Ever.
ridiculous.
So yeah, that was Mexico, and we will not be returning for a long, long time.
And I really hope Tahoe does not go like that. So
I don't know that there is a world in which it can go that badly.
I vote that we vet people sooner for Tahoe.
Well, that's between you and Mackenzie. I ain't partaking.
Yeah,
Oh man. Oh
that's really
man.
fun. That's an intense story. So Memorial Day weekend was a success. Kind of.
It's great.
A
I was like,
success
well,
of not getting toxic shock. Thank God.
this is true. This is true. This was good. Turns out it's okay. According to you, it's okay if the tampon was in there till Monday. Is that true?
People leave those things in for like 2 weeks. I've had patients that come to the clinic.
Yeah.
You know, granted, that's rancid and gross, but like it happens.
Sure.
So, I mean, toxic shock, like, I don't.
Do you think they're just fear mongering, or are there actually stories where people have
No,
gotten
I
it
think
after
there's definitely like
6
cases of
hours?
it happening, but I think you would start running a fever and like
Is
sweating.
that the symptoms?
Yeah, like you would start like seeing like septic type of of symptoms.
Can you reverse it like once it starts?
You gotta get on antibiotics. You gotta get the infection out and get on antibiotics.
Okay. Oh, it's just an infection. That's what it is.
It's a really, really bad infection.
Okay. Oif. Imagine trying to explain that to your boss, getting toxic shock and having to explain to your boss that you can't come into work because you have a vaginal toxic shock infection.
You know, I think it depends on who your boss is. My boss would probably be like, I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, well, fair. I forget
like next week, you know.
You're like in the medical industry, so I forget that. I'm sitting over here imagining telling my like 65-year-old like male lawyer, so left the tampon in a little too long.
You know, I bet he would never ask again why you called out though if you did say that.
It's true. It's facts. I think I'm off tampons. I think my body doesn't like them.
Oh, you gonna try the cup?
No, absolutely not. That sounds miserable. How does that work? Do you just hold blood inside you and then you pull it out without
It's like a
spilling
new
it?
thing. It's like a little cup that goes up in there and it like collects. I don't
No, I
know.
get that. But when you pull it out, is that just a Gen Z thing that millennials just aren't into like the cups and the lids and the
You
things?
know, wear a pad, like that thing, like, you know, and it like if you wore
I
pads
don't want to.
and you can see it at the back of your jeans where it looks like you have a diaper on, like, no, just stick to tampons, whatever.
Some tampies.
Tampons. Anyway, on that note, I think I'm gonna
Go get ready so we can go
finish
get a
the
bevy.
plate, and I think I'll come to dinner. Okay, because that's such a lovely appetite to start with. That story. Thank you.
You're welcome. What are you wearing?
A tank top and white jeans.
Oh, not even. Oh, it is after Memorial Day. That's the whole point of this story. Anyways, moving on.
After Easter.
Love you. See you soon.
Bye.